Dear presenters, esteemed participants, today's proceedings were absolutely remarkable. Thank you all for your engagement, which is a testimony to the crucial nature of this technical debate to all stakeholders. What I want to do as a representative from EMIL is to bring back the discussion down from technical, which we've all heard and learned a lot from, into the stakeholders, the people who are directly concerned with all this work. The first, of course, is the Lebanese people. The Lebanese people stand to reap the windfall and bear the fallout of CEDRE. It is up to all of us to actually know what we are getting ourselves into. The windfall, I think we have heard, can be tremendous for this country in terms of putting the economy, and by extension society, on track to sustainable growth and competitiveness. If only the national vision that we've heard about with the various documents presented became an actual development plan. Without a plan, no strategy can be executed. The fallout can be brutal. This is debt, let's not forget it. Soft loan, hard loan, it is debt. And this debt will have to be repaid someday, and rather quickly. Many a country has fallen on its sword after massive injections of international cash. Most of us in this room are old enough to remember clearly the MBA crisis of about 30 years ago. And I'm not talking about the degree for the younger ones. Today, 30 years later, Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina are still teetering on the edge of the developed countries club, and their societies remain profoundly unequal. Lebanon is no different. Today, deficit reduction is the key, regardless of what else happens or doesn't happen. Deficit reduction has to happen. Therefore, it is incumbent on all citizens to go into this process eyes wide open and mindful, and to demand accountability as well as responsibility from the elected decision makers. In your folders, there is a CEDRE fact sheet, which we prepared, which does exactly what it says. We think this fact sheet should be in every home, on every wall, in every institution, as a reminder of both the opportunity and the costs of the bargain with the international community. Secondly, this is the time for decision makers in Lebanon altogether to think of the collective national interest in making decisions that will affect generations to come. At the moment, and as has been the case for decades in Lebanon, miscalculations and partisanship seem to be the driving force of political decision-making. Good governance is what is missing and requires this to change. We have heard that Parliament today faces major legislative work. Well, let them do it. Drawing legislation that is appropriate to safeguard the country and enable the commitments of the international community is very much on the critical path. So if time is of the essence, legislation is the first step. Then the donors. The donors have committed their goodwill, their technical assistance, and their money to Lebanon. This is a major public signal from a large chunk of the international community's direct and indirect support for Lebanon. In return, donors expect and need regularly verifiable assurances that the funds committed are spent as intended with the expected results. This isn't about policing, it's about good public management, unknown in Lebanon. One comes with the other. Another important stakeholder, which we have only alluded to at the end but is on everybody's minds, is the region. The region is a stakeholder as well. I used to have a boss in my years in investment banking 20 years ago who said, Lebanon is a great country in a bad neighborhood. Well, over time, even bad neighborhoods tend to gentrify. If Lebanon is allowed to use CEDRE to improve its own lot, the neighborhood will benefit. For this, both donors and Lebanese decision makers need to understand and agree that CEDRE should be designed for Lebanon and the Lebanese first, and that Lebanon can be the regional motor for growth. The good news, what I've observed today and recently, is that there is a wind of change blowing over Lebanon in terms of decision-making and involvement in public life. In this room, all afternoon on this table, a succession of relatively young Lebanese who were touched by the civil war in a variety of personal ways and have been educated and trained outside Lebanon are coming home, full of energy, experience, distinguished in their fields in faraway lands, and ready and eager to put this experience to work on building a modern society, a competitive society, simply a place to raise one's family. These people represent merit, not the grace and favor appointments that we have been used to for decades. May it become prevalent in all aspects of Lebanese public and private life. Regrettably, this change has not been made evident in the most recent parliamentary elections. It is increasingly evident in the executive branch of government and in the private sector. We need legislation, the legislative and the judiciary, to follow the executive and the private sector move. There's a whole generation that has come of age, eager to give back and understands the codes of success in the international community. If we are going to be a player in the international community and deal with them and take their money, we need to crack these codes and really learn how to be a good recipient of international community support. This is the reason Lebanon can be the regional motor of growth, if only there can be true and clear agreement on the centricity of Lebanon in CEDRE before anything else. So this is where EMIL's role comes in. EMIL is a convener for informed debate and for bringing together experts with complementary competencies and lenses of analysis on the key subjects and challenges in Lebanon. After 5.5 hours of debate, one of many such debates in the country on the topic, no one can deny that this discussion is a central challenge for Lebanon. Governance, accountability, sustainability, and impact on the under 35 are the subjects that EMIL intends to promote to the top of the agenda. One way we intend to do that is by making sure information is available for the Lebanese so that those who are directly concerned by this massive undertaking can indeed understand what is about to befall them and participate in the decision-making, and so that they can hold their decision-makers accountable. We look forward to interacting with all of you in this endeavor. For now, it's time to thank everyone, the audience, the presenters, and to go drink to Lebanon's health in the room next door. Thank you for being here.